Coming to you straight from Roll to Play in Coppell, Texas. This is the Stop Click. And if you're watching us, you could be doing worse things on the internet.
By far.
I'm Raven.
I'm Matt Jackson.
And in today's episode, I guess we're going to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, obviously we have a month...
No, this is a Series 3 OP.
Oh, this is a Series 3 OP.
Yeah, right now we're in the middle of a tournament fighting for Exodia. We got some crazy teams.
We got some fun teams,
600 points. The only exceptions are no entity possessions and no team bases. And that's it.
And Yu-Gi-Oh pieces and
Yu-Gi-Oh pieces are allowed.
And non-Yu-Gi-Oh pieces
Yes,
allowed. So we've seen some very creative teams.
Yes. So many Blue Eyes Ultimates.
I think one of the things I want to talk about as far as the Yu-Gi-Oh pieces go, I feel like WizKids really stepped up the ball with the Exodia, was it Slifer? I don't know that.
Blue Eyes Ultimate
and the
Dragon.
Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I think the sculpts on these things really
Dude, look
are
at the scratches
amazing.
on them. It looks like you got into like a fight with a cat or something.
It's impressive. You know, I haven't really been this impressed since the Symbiote OP kit.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that really, if you were trying to drive up interest, you are really bringing a lot more to the Yu-Gi-Oh! And I mean, you're applying Yu-Gi-Oh! To HeroClix communities who may be a little resistant to play them.
You're definitely having a great a piece here in this Exodia. This guy is... the closest thing I can remember is Slattern from
but even then,
comic books.
I don't really think Exodia and Slattern. Exodia is one of the meanest pieces I've probably ever seen at 400 points.
We tried him against Avengers Prime.
Avengers Prime, and it was over very, very quickly.
Turn 3, it was over.
Yeah, turn 3, it was over. Just 3 shots, boom, 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 that was it.
But if you have a Nimrod and a Justin Seaford,
and Nimrod actually did make short work of Exodia, mostly because they're broken. Anyway,
says that guy right there.
Anyway, but it's interesting though. I mean, the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff hasn't really been a bestseller in a lot of different stores.
Because, honestly, I'm telling you right now, it's because it's not modern.
It's because it's not modern. Well,
it's not modern. It's not playable in any format by ROC or WizKids sanction.
But I mean, think about how far-reaching the implications would be if you could play them in an ROC.
Right? That would broaden the game up, man. That'd be awesome.
Well, and the problem inherently would be you're purist. You have a lot of people who are comic book fans first and foremost. Yu-Gi-Oh is not a comic book property.
Well, I will say this. If you're playing HeroClix and you're playing competitively and you're a purist and think comic book only,
well,
you probably might want to rethink your strategy.
This is true. But
I'm not saying anything against you guys, but like, putting Batman on the same team as Nimrod or something that would be awesome.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, we play HeroClix for the things that could be, not necessarily for the things that are.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. And we've seen a lot of very interesting pieces come out of the Yu-Gi-Oh sets. I will say that I do think that some of their lower point figures do things that you could never do in modern, and maybe that's why they're so interesting to look at.
Yeah, there's a trap mechanic,
there's the trap
ritual,
and the spells and the rituals,
and the fusion and stuff.
There's very interesting mechanics at work when you talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh pieces, and it does bring another level to that. I mean, we all know that Sidestep started out as the Street Fighter team ability, and now is a core part of HeroClix. In fact, it's incredibly necessary in my opinion. But as time goes on, I think we might see more Yu-Gi-Oh. I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh is the test bed for things. The alpha for like, hey, can we really do this and not really break the game? And Exodia, no. We don't need any more.
Well, okay. For those of you who don't know what Exodia does, we'll go over his abilities real quick. His traits, the only thing kind of keeping him back, and his traits, honestly, if you're a fan of the show, I watched the show as a kid. I know all about Exodia. He comes out with those bond tokens on him, and they have 5 of them.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of your turn, you roll 1d6. On a 2 through 4, you remove 1 token. On a 5 through 6. You remove 2 tokens.
Yeah.
Now, the only way you can get past this... these tokens keep him from being moved, placed, attacked, or damaged.
Yeah, so he's there.
But you work around it with Pulse Wave.
Yeah,
we discovered that.
Yes.
So you get a shot in as much as you can.
Yeah.
But a sidestep with the move action of 3.
Yeah. The thing is, that's not really what makes him broken. It's that it's a natural 20 defense, 6 damage, outwit, and penetrating Psychic Blast. You can really take down any single character in the game with those combination of abilities.
Oh, and that's not talking about his defensive power. Every other click, he ignores all but 1 damage. Ignores it, doesn't reduce it.
Yeah,
and that power cannot be countered or ignored.
And that's not fun. Like that's a horribly broken to kind of play against. And but it's interesting. Exodia as a piece is a lot of things you can't do with HeroClix. Number one, that's being brutally honest. But he's interesting. He brings something new to the game. He's something fun to try. To me, honestly, he feels like kind of a very tiny Galactus. I don't really see people bringing down Galactus that much, especially if they're not picking the absolute worst targets the whole time.
Yeah.
I saw some people fighting Galactus one time, and they were going, Galactus is going to do 1 damage to the Superman with Invincible, 1 damage to that Superman with Invincible, 1 damage to that character with Invincible. And I'm like, no. That's not how Galactus works. Galactus has to be chosen to have the best options possible. And you still have to try to beat him. Not the worst options possible, and you try to beat him. So a lot of people kind of pat themselves on the back for beating Galactus. And I'm like, if you play Galactus perfectly, it's ridiculous. Like Dr. Manhattan, another one of those characters.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Dr. Manhattan. If you play Dr. Manhattan perfectly, yes, you're not really supposed to win. And that's fine, and I'm okay with that. But he feels kind of like a small version, a nice one-on-one challenge to see if you can bring down the mighty Exodia. And it's very interesting, and I really appreciate them trying to expand the boundaries of HeroClix. We've seen a lot of interesting sets over the years, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Does seem to bring a little bit of a crowd. I mean, we
have players here for Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's an intellectual property that people seem to be moderately interested in. I never watched the show. I never have anything, but I'll be honest, the sculpts are neat, and they're fun to play against. They bring something new to try, and for that, I am.
You know what? While they made the decision to make it gravity feed only and keep it from boosters, I think that was a great decision.
I think in the end it worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other set that I can think of that had this that was actually HeroClix was Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past was a gravity feed only set. It was a kind of a limited number.
Days of Future, Age of Ultron also had the other corresponding tournament, but those are two different sets.
And but speaking of gravity feeds, obviously another thing we want to talk about tonight is primers and the death of primers.
Thank God. 6 feet underground. Thank you, WizKids, for listening.
Well,
Jeez.
Here's the problem inherently with primers, and a thing you will see.
Okay, well, first off, let's explain what primers are.
Okay, primers were when a set came out, like the last one I can remember was The Flash. For DC, it contained 10 figures, the exact same 10 figures, twice over, plus 4 more of any other.
And I just noticed there weren't any gravity feeds for Trinity War, were there?
I don't believe so. I believe Trinity War is also dead. I believe they were dead by then.
Yeah.
But the thing is, primers now are mostly gone, as far as we know, mostly gone, and they needed to go, though, because in any single store, you would go in and find full boxes of primers.
Well, it was also confusing too because you had the movie gravity feeds, which are actually really good.
And I had people that were disappointed. They're like, "Wait a minute, you mean I can't pull chases out of this gravity feed?" I said, "No, that gravity feed has a chase, can have a chase in it. Those cannot."
Yeah.
And they go, "I don't understand." And I said, well, this one has a set that corresponds to it. These are the exact same 10 pieces over and over again. You can't pull anything else. None of them. There's no commonalities. There's no uncommons or rares. There just are.
Yeah.
And they go, well, why would anybody spend money on that? And I said, because you want one of those 10 specific pieces. And he goes, I didn't know that. I would have never spent. And I actually saw somebody go, I would never buy that. I'm like, a lot of people don't.
Believe me, from what I'm looking at, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
A lot of people don't. And that's upsetting for a lot of people, especially when, the thrill of the hunt is a lot of what makes people crack
Yeah,
packs.
exactly.
But
I can't tell you how many times I coerced you into buying packs.
You did.
Just for that, thrill of the hunt.
Hey,
Matt, none of the chases have been pulled yet.
None of the chases have been pulled yet. Who
Open
knows?
these 4 booster packs.
Yes. Yeah. And I'll be honest though, that's maybe that's part of the game for me is the thrill of chasing certain pieces. But gravity primers didn't really do any of that.
You get rid of all of it. Anything fun about the game.
Well,
none of the pieces were even very playable.
Well, occasionally you find a piece in the gravity feed that did something interesting. The Flash had a flash that could be on one side of the map and move to the other side of the map and keep going. And that was kind of fun. Everybody thought that was an interesting, fun mechanic. But what did it ever see meta play? No. Did anybody really seem to jump at it?
Nobody. Yeah, it's just they're just sitting there, man, and it's just.
So and then you had a few other pieces, but you also had pieces that, as far as I know, I've never seen anybody play ever, and nobody will ever play. Like the gravity feed golden glider, never gonna see play. You might see some.
One gravity feed piece that really pissed me off.
What's that?
The ASM Mysterio, because he had a silver ring around his base, so you couldn't run him with the other Mysterio. Mysterio.
Of course not. Of course not.
You couldn't. The whole thing about the ASM, Amazing Spider-Man Mysterio, is you can play one at 75 points and every subsequent one at 15 points.
Yeah, and
they look like the same dial, and they all look the same. So you get confused by them. The stupid Gravity Feed one had a silver ring around it.
Yeah, so.
That was the worst thing in the world, man.
Yeah, well, and that mean, I think primers, everybody kind of figured out they needed to go. They did bring some interesting pieces over the years, but I'm looking forward to more movie Gravity Feeds with chases and new figures.
Yes.
Whenever the figures are truly unique, I think it's okay. I think it's okay to have the thrill of the hunt again, to have the chase.
Yeah.
I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Even went so far as to have super rares and chases in their Gravity Feeds, and that's something that I don't think ever got done anywhere else other than Days of Future Past as well.
You know what? Maybe that's what they were testing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Because like you said, when Street Fighter was a test for sidestep.
Yeah.
Maybe they're looking at making Gravity Feeds contain more.
Yeah. And I going forward, I could see that as being better for the impulse purchase. Sometimes you're not really willing to spend $12 on a booster or $14 on a booster, but $3, I've got $3 today.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and okay. Well, one thing that they shouldn't do is have a rarity of chase like they did with Nimrod.
Yeah, the not having something at least once per box can be really detrimental to the morale
not only that,
of the store.
but how many boxes Gravity Feeds did we open?
I think 3, and none of them had Nimrod.
None of them. You traded for this, right?
Yes, I did trade for
This
that.
is the only... I've only seen 2 Nimrods ever in person.
Yeah.
And we opened 3 Gravity Feeds ourselves.
I never saw any.
And not saw one, man.
So the Ultra Super Chase thing probably a
Granted,
little much.
you know what? I'm kind of glad, though, after playing against Nimrod. I'm kind of glad I never would want to see him. I don't want to see him anymore, especially with Justin Seaford now.
Well, yeah.
Forget that.
That's once again Justin Seaford being a very interesting piece out of the Age of Ultron. What other thing we want to talk about today?
Gravity Feeds. We
words.
We're gonna wing it for now. Well, going along the same lines as Gravity Feed, honestly, I think introducing super rares into it and rares and actually making it a set would be really cool.
I think so. I think if we saw, like, on the next set, I mean, I don't think Ant-Man's getting a Gravity Feed set, which is I'm kind of okay with.
Micro tournament.
Oh, the micro
That's what it was.
Oh, my bad.
All right, so recently there's been a bunch of Ant-Man micro tournaments going around where you could participate for an exclusive Scott Lang ID card.
Yeah, that was cool.
Roll to Play will not be part of it, mostly because we're required by Alliance to buy a lot of product, of product that we won't sell.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our next topic.
Is that feels like the wrong way to a lot of people to distribute these OP kits. Sure, it's a special OP kit, but it really wasn't like Con Your Store. Good.
Yeah, no. Con Your Store I can understand because how many there was Con exclusives were given away.
There was so much stuff included in the Con Your Store kit. This is kind of like that, but the draw for the store isn't as big, you know. A lot of stores are really not really willing to buy product that they don't know or won't sell.
Yeah, won't sell. Yeah,
and that's a little depressing. I don't like the feeling that stores have to go above and beyond. Like I wish this was something like our normal OP kits. We got to order.
Exactly.
We got to have. We got to play.
You could limit it to one per store or something like that.
Something.
Or, you know, but
the way they
I think excluding stores that do not buy bulk.
That's a little scumbag. I'll be honest. That feels like the wrong way to go about doing it, and we hope to not see that in the future. That is, it's a little bit of a black mark on an otherwise kind of neat event. You know, it looked neat. Now, I mean, a lot of stores. We know the stores spend money on the OP kits. We've seen them buy and keep product on the shelf for way too long.
Yeah.
You know, this store right here has a Shuma Garaf, has bunches of them. And yeah, they're incredibly hard to move, you know,
we have a whole stock full of them,
man. And we realize that
they should have tacked it on with the Ant-Man box set, dude. That's what I think.
I'll be honest with you, I could actually completely agree with if it was tacked into the Ant-Man box set.
Buy a certain amount of Ant-Man box sets and get the OP kit. I think that would have been perfectly fine.
But no, that Alliance
when you're trying to get rid of old stuff, and it's just, I mean, I don't know. Like a few stores here are doing it, a few stores aren't. Yeah. It's up in the air. We can't do it, man. I don't want to spend the money and just, you know, because at that point, the first thing you think of is making your money back.
Yeah.
And knowing you're not going to sell the product, you're going to have to bump up the entry fee on things.
Yeah,
man.
and nobody wants. And once again, nobody likes doing that.
Yeah.
So we I think as a whole, we need to see less of these style of events. I think it's okay to try something new, but to force the stores to go above and beyond on ordering old product or anything like that, that should not be ever be
right someone dropped the token.
That should never be a requirement to run events for your customers. Your customers are the lifeblood.
You know what should be a requirement?
What's that?
You need to start putting packs in all your fast forces, all your power and ability cards, and all your fast forces and starter sets.
Well, the fast.
Hey, that's timing round, by the way. You guys are on last movement.
Final action.
So that's the final action for everybody.
Yeah.
And then go report your scorings to Nick.
Anyway, so paying some bills, as it were. So I really hope we see less of these in the future. They are a little bit of a black mark on, and I'll be honest, the problem may have been fixed. And I'm not trying to put down Alliance as a distributor, but as far as I know, Alliance is the only North American distributor, and that can kind of happen when you have this kind of monopoly on HeroClix distribution. Magic doesn't do things that way. Magic has many distributors. And I think that the Ant-Man OP kit being hard to obtain and the forcing of ordering of old stuff and stuff you have to sit in your shelves and leave there forever, that's not good business. From a business perspective, I think it's a bad call.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it so that your customers almost resent you for your problems.
No.
So
report your scores. That's less fun.
Anyway. For not having the event, other stores are running the event. That's not fair to anybody. Nobody needs that.
Yeah, well, you know what, and that's just two opinions from two dudes who want the Scott Lang ID card.
Yeah, really bad. I want to play for it.
I'm not driving to Duncanville to get one.
Yeah.
You got one?
Yeah.
No, I have a judge question.
Oh,
Okay.
judge question. Now, Zach. Okay, give us 1 second.
Yeah.
We're finishing up here. I think that's it. I think we're gonna go.
But I killed him.
Yeah.
He wins.
Oh, very cool.
We have, I think, the exact same amount of minutes.
So that's a question. We'll leave it with this question of the day. If you have Mystics and somebody makes the final kill on you, and that was their last click, who wins the game?
Because it says after actions resolve, the Mystics doesn't. The damage will get done, but the action resolves and the game is over.
Mystics doesn't happen after action resolve. Immediately after the attack.
See, there we go. Hey, we got our debate. Let's
There we
not
go.
try to settle it. You guys, if you have an answer to it, questions or comics,
Yeah.
let us know, man. If Mystics...
Actually, it probably is a tie. I wager they actually do a tie roll off.
Game's
Game's a tie, probably roll off.
We'll have to go see it.
We haven't actually done it yet.
But, yeah, that's been the Stop Click. We're here in the middle of crazy tournament. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, there we
Crazy
go.
rules.
Yeah.
I've been Raven,
I'm MJ.
and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching.